You know, what we're seeing right now is the Republicans coming forward in a step of unity and really becoming a shill for a reality TV star. We might want to call it Congressional Apprentice.
Well, welcome back to Harvard. That was Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan, actually responding to the meeting today between the presumptive Republican nominee for president. I don't really like that phrase. How about the nominee to be? And the party's Republican leadership. With House Speaker Paul Ryan not yet endorsing Trump, but saying he will soon, the party clearly remains a House divided, for the day at least, the situation which Democrats are trying to capitalize on. Shortly after the meeting, Hillary Clinton's campaign sent out an email saying, quote, Republicans are continuing to acknowledge that a President Trump would be too big a risk. Today, Speaker Ryan met with Donald Trump, but he clearly wasn't swayed by the nominee as he again refused to endorse. Well, that's a little rough. I'm not sure that's the message that Ryan put out today. Anyway, the Clinton campaign also organized a call with reporters this afternoon, led by Labor Secretary Tom Perez, who said Trump's presidency would be, quote, a train wreck for American values and for Latinos. I think he had to put that in there for sure. Join me right now for more Democratic strategist Steve McMahon and MSNBC analyst Jonathan Capehart of the Washington Post. Gentlemen, watch this now. Joe Biden's kind of hard to predict sometimes, but Joe Biden said something like this. He's now talking about that if he had ran, the Politico report today, that Vice President Joe Biden said if he had wanted to run, or if had run, he would have put Elizabeth Warren as his running mate. People familiar with the situation told Politico, they quote, Joe Biden took months to decide he wouldn't run for president, but he was sold on Elizabeth Warren as his running mate from the start, and he still thinks the Massachusetts firebrand would be Hillary Clinton's best choice to replace him as the country's #2 in January 2017. Why is he getting his head? Why is he messing with her marmalade?
Her mojo.
Why is he doing this now, telling her that he would pick the woman? Him picking a woman is different than another woman picking another woman, I would think. It's just different in terms of ticket balancing.
Although it's an interesting dilemma for Hillary Clinton. She wants to bring the Bernie Sanders folks into the fold. Elizabeth Warren was Bernie Sanders before Bernie Sanders. And so it would be an interesting doubling down like Clinton Gore.
Would you do that?
No, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, thank you. I think we all like to be dashing and exciting, but it may be too exciting for some of the voters, buddy.
Right. I mean,
why is Biden doing this?
I don't know. I really don't know.
This is stand to be out of the limelight. I mean, it's just having fun.
Yeah.
Is he setting himself? Is he setting himself up in case something goes wrong on the email front?
I don't know if that's what he's actually doing.
Nobody stops running for president.
No, and he is proving that. This is what the third story in as many weeks about Vice President Biden waxing nostalgic for the race.
Who would be the nominee of the Democratic Party? I don't even know the rules on this. Who would be the nominee of the Democratic Party, since we're talking all Republicans today, if something happened to Hillary Clinton, she had to withdraw for email reason or something else? Who would be the nominee?
It would almost certainly be Bernie Sanders.
Really?
Because he had run, but
he's run.
Even if it happens after the convention, who would get it? The Republican National Committee meets and decides. We saw this with Eagleton.
That's right. Then it would almost certainly be Joe Biden. But it would have to be after the delegates had met and Hillary was nominated.
They don't resume the convention.
By the way, that's never going to happen.
I was going to say, because imagine the Bernie folks saying, okay, Vice President Biden, go right ahead. We've spent all this time, invested all this energy and money.
Okay, speaking of stirring the pot, the Wall Street Journal today voted an editorial, and you know what they're up to the case that Bernie Sanders can win the Democratic presidential nominee right now, saying, quote, if Sanders sweeps the final 10 primaries and caucuses, he might take the lead among bound delegates heading into the Democratic convention. What's the point of saying that? In other words, sweep all the delegates for that. Hillary's in pretty good shape to carry California. So what are they doing? Sweeping all of them, and she would still have the superdelegates.
Well, that's the point. I mean, they didn't say he would go into the convention as the nominee outright. Yeah, implied, because the assumption is...
Are they keeping him up there like a fatted calf? Are they keeping him fat and ready to run against in the general?
Yes, of course. They would love to run against Bernie Sanders. They haven't laid, Republicans have not laid a glove on Bernie Sanders.
Does everybody get this on the left, the progressive left? The progressives realize that the Republicans have purposely avoided trashing this guy, who they could easly trash as a Democratic...
No, they don't get it. They don't get it at all. This is a journalistic equivalent, by the way, of suggesting that Senator Cruz's father had something to do with the assassination of John Kennedy. It's utterly ridiculous on its face, and they do it just to stir the pot, just to cause trouble. The fact is, Bernie Sanders would have to win not just the next 10 elections, but he'd have to win them with 2/3 of the vote or more in order to be even competitive. There's no way on earth Bernie Sanders...
How do the Democrats grab the spotlight? I mean, you write for the papers, you're at a PR, you know the public relations business. I'll start with you. How do Democrats grab the front page again? Trump is out there, is like, I can't believe it's like Scheherazade. He's got a new story every day to stay alive. He's all... You like that reference?
Yeah, that's
Every
good.
day he's got a new one. Hillary is a smart, well-briefed person, but she's not novel. She doesn't come up with a new Hillary every day, a new interesting comment. She's pretty solid.
But the way she wins this thing, in my opinion, is she makes Trump the huckster, the guy who will say anything to get what he wants, and whose history is that what he wants comes at the expense of everybody else. And she's got to tell that story. She's got to have a narrative for the campaign. She's not going to win it by having a train wreck every day in the press. Yeah, she's going to win it by being slow, steady, tested, trusted, experienced.
Right. You can't compete with Donald Trump in terms of the spotlight. And sometimes that spotlight is so hot, you don't want to be anywhere near it. So let Trump be Trump. Let Hillary Clinton, the presumed Democratic nominee, if she gets there,
prohibitive.
Don't you hate the word?
Prohibitive. That's what prohibitive.
Have you guys hated the word presumptive? It's like consumptive. It sounds terrible to me. Anyway.
But no, the point I'm trying to make here is let Donald Trump be Donald Trump. Let him be the Roman candle on the campaign trail, and let Hillary Clinton, as Steve said, just make the pitch, make the case, let Donald Trump hang himself by his own words.
You're thinking about Elton John. You're thinking of Candle in the Wind, aren't you?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay, I thought you were.
But you need to create this narrative so that every time he is a Roman candle, it actually fulfills the prophecy. She's got to set a trap for him that he walks into every single day.
And the point I was trying to make is that in 2008, when the economy imploded and everyone was concerned about what was going to happen, what did John McCain do to steal the spotlight? Suspended his campaign. He wanted to focus. And Barack Obama was like, what are you talking about? We got a campaign to run.
You never know. It's like the chair. It was a good idea, but it didn't work for Clint Eastwood. Anyway, 3 seconds. Anyway, thank you, Steve McMahon. Thank you, Jonathan Caper. Up next, our roundtable tonight reacts to the big day in Washington and the showmanship of Trump. You're watching Hardball, the place for politics.